Hello racing fans, and warm welcome to our Gallop TV preview show for Sunday the 7th of January. And of course there are some feature races to look forward to at the Big T Turffontein. It is the Betway Got the Green Like Stakes, which is a Group 3. And then we got the Mother Russia Stakes, also a Group 3. And we got a listed race, which is the Wolf Power 1600 meters. Unusually so, we are recording this show 48 hours before Sunday. So it's usually 24 hours. So all I'm urging you to do is have a look at the card scratchings, the updated betting, etc. And by the time this rating meeting begins, we would have known the big winners at Hollywoodbets Kenilworth on Saturday, which would have been their big meeting. But on behalf of the team, and of course we introduce Alistair Cohen to the show, I trust that you, the valued racing fan, as well, and we're looking forward to this Sunday where it is double header. We race alongside Hollywoodbets Scottsville. Alistair, we're recording the show, that's how television works. It's all about timing and studios that are available, etc. But the fact is, we are recording the show 48 hours before Sunday. So you've had a look at the card, and it is an attractive looking card, although the size of the fields may be a bit disappointing, but there are feature races to look forward to.
Yeah, good day, Dees. Good day to all the viewers. As you mentioned, when I actually got asked by the team if we could perhaps bring the recording forward by 24 hours, generally I would have been quite uneasy by that because I'd glanced at the card, but not really gone into depth with studying. But glancing at a card like this, the pressure was taken off with the appeal to go 24 hours earlier. So I was quite comfortable because of the quality of the card. Yes, you say the fields might be a bit on the small side, but I think that's the structure of the card. When you look, there's two handicaps on the card. One of them is a fillies and mares handicap over 1.5 miles. It doesn't. The program of the meeting doesn't lend itself to big fields. We obviously got a double header on Sunday, but for me, alongside Hollywoodbets Scottsville, this card will probably attract a lot of attention, mainly because of the rematch between Sandringham Summit and Main Defender in the Betway Got the Green Light Stakes. This is a precursor to the Volkerbos Drift Triple Tiara and the World Sports Betting Triple Crown, which is now only a month away. This is the first look at 3-year-olds that might be looking to hunt down the leading lights in that division. But I think some of the leading lights are already out, just brushing off the cobwebs and getting started for 2024 on this card.
Okay, let's get straight into it. We're going to have some forecast betting. Now, that's the word we're going to use in front of betting. It's 1,800 meters. It's a maiden place. Race 1 will kick off the exotics. It's the start of the bar pot. Number 2 at 28 to 10. Number 3 at 28 to 10. Then one other runner in single figures, horse number 8 at 3 to 1. But I've taken down the betting of the filly, who carries 54.5 and jumps from Stallgate 1. She's trading at 10 to 1. But they got them betting very tight at the top of the betting boards here, Alistair, and you can possibly back 2 of those horses and still make a profit. So how are we going to play the first leg of the bar pot?
Funny enough, at first glance, this race had me troubled because I think they're just horses right across the page from 1 down to 9 who are going to get their maiden win sooner rather than later. So whoever comes out on top here, it's a bit of a feather in their cap. When you have a look at who's beating who and the form that comes into it, I come down on the side of number 2, Master Christmas. But then when you look at the run to Weather Wizard, this was Karoo Gold's got Master Christmas hold. So it's a very complex race. So just hear me out. Master Christmas finished in front of Officer in Command in their run to Majestic Palace. Officer in Command finished in front of number 8 to The Rescue in the run to Just Nuisance. I really liked To The Rescue last time out. He was returning or reported to be not striding out or not ridden out. Nothing was detected afterwards. I think he's worth another chance, especially stepping up to this distance. The mare #YOLO started her career with a bang with Dean Canamere and KZN. But like I said, Officer in Command holds To The Rescue. Master Christmas holds Officer in Command. Karoo Gold holds Master Christmas. So I'm going with number 2, Master Christmas, because I think that he's coming to hand at a better rate than the others. The son of Master of my fate, Craig Zaki, takes the ride. His only run over 1,800 meters produced a 2 1/4 length second to Holocene. Over 1 mile, I remember that. If you have a look at the replay after the race, Craig Zaki was incandescent with something that happened in the race. I think he had his target on Muzi, and you'll see that there was a report carried 500-meter bump for both Master Christmas and Iger Sanction, who they reoppose. So I haven't spoken to Craig about it, but I think Craig was bemoaning the fact that he thinks he could have won last time out. So is he a winner without a penalty? I think you can make the case for quite a few here, but to start off, 2 and 3 in the buy pot. Have respect for numbers 5, 8, and 9, but number 2, Master Christmas, is my top selection in a very open stop. Probably the hardest race on the card, dare I say.
Well, 2 and 3 look to be the right horses at the top of betting boards, marginally ahead of number 8. I think this is going to be a good one between these 3 runners, and the top choice for Alistair will be horse number 2, Master Christmas. But Mike de Kock, what form that stable is in, and could it be another red letter day for the yard? They got some horses to come later on. Race number 2, Fillies and Mares, 80 handicap. It's over 2,400 meters, and at the time of recording, number 1, Special Charm, is at 28-10. 2, Avalon Toast, is at 6-1. Number 3, Pretty in Pearls. You got a form update depending on which form guide you are using. Ran second behind Rosie Lemon. That's trading at 5-1. Number 4, Mount Etna, at 4-1. Then we go on to number 5, Ideal Future, at 8-1. This is forecast betting. 7, Explosive Bond, that's at 5-1. And it is 10-1 and better the balance. Just 2 runners in double figures. Their numbers 6 and 8. When I had a look at the race, and I had a look at Paul Matchett's runners, yeah, I could say that the right horse is at top of betting boards, number 1, Special Charm. But I just jotted down Felisane Mqoli as the key to the race, because, you know what, he knows all these horses so well, and he's riding a horse. I know it's 2,400, but he's drawn pole position with 52 on the back. Could he be, the key to the Matchett runners because of the way he could read the race with the other horses from the stable?
So, Dees, I won't overthink that. I think the key here is undoubtedly Paul Matchett. I've gone 1, 3, and 7 in the place accumulator, which is my suggested bet. But my line of thinking here is just check the scratchings, because I'm not convinced number 3, Pretty in Pearls, is going to run. If she does run, she becomes a chance. But if you have a look at the weight that number 1, Special Charm, is carrying, and the fact that you've got a 4-kilo claiming apprentice available, to me that makes sense. That Matchett probably would have turned around and said, right, Pila Sunday, you're not riding Special Charm because of the weight. I'm going to put Trent Mayhew -4 on her. So now you've got the choice between Pretty in Pearls and Explosive Bond and Elemental Force, so I don't really put in the race, to be honest. So I think Pila Sunday had the choice between 3 and 7, and probably doubting, is Matchett going to run Pretty in Pearls back so soon? He's jumped on number 7, Explosive Bond, who obviously has a good draw, who's been over this trip once before and didn't run badly behind Kind Judy. So I think that's the more reliable of the 2 evils. But yeah, 1, 3, and 7 for me, they're the 3 in my place accumulator. If Pretty in Pearls gets scratched, I think that might simplify it. If she runs, then she's a huge chance. Special Charm and the Sun Chariot last time out pushed United Council all the way down to the line. Special Charm's been a revelation. She's been lovely to follow. She's a complete overachiever, 5-time winner from 25 starts. Took her a while to get the hang of things, but since she's gone over a trip and been given a chance to mature, she's become a very nice, easy horse to follow over the extended distance in this type of division. So, yeah, am I going to go with a heavyweight or the bottom weight between the 2 with Pretty in Pearls a big question mark? I'm probably going to go with... I'm going to go with 1, Special Charm, just because I know what I'm getting with her over number 7, Explosive Bond, who could very well improve hand over fist, much the same as her stable companion has.
Well, as you've come to know, that the mascot for the show is Abisi, and we can hear him in the background. I don't know whether he's agreeing or disagreeing with Alistair on his thought process here, but whatever it is, he wanted to have a say here in race number 2. But maybe the right horse, number 1, Special Charm, could be the horse that Nkabisi wants to agree with Alistair Cohen there with the claim 4. On to race number 3, start of the pick 6. It's a Pinnacle Stakes. It's over 2,400 meters, and we will read out the best weighted column for you. Number 1, Zeus at 16-10. Then we go on to number 3, Litigation at 8-1. 4, Good Counsel at 11-2. 5 at 4-1. 6 at 28-10. Double figures the balance. The best weighted column is tight. 5, none other, marginally ahead of second base, Litigation, then Zeus, and Good Counsel. So the spread between the top 5 there, we're going to call it £6 or 3.5 kgs between the top 5 in the best weighted column. Yeah, this horse Zeus, Fabian Habib has done a tremendous job with this horse. So what's he, an 8-time winner, Alistair? He's earned over 1.2 million rand in stakes for a horse that just got 70k. That's a tremendous return on your investment, regardless of the spend per month. That's the type of horse you want to own. Gavin Larina up from draw 1. That was a great run from him. I know Royal Victory, wow, that threw many out of the exotics that day, Nathan Cotson's runner. But what a performance from Royal Victory. That Betway Summer Cup, I know it was a highly competitive race, when you had a look at them on paper. And if you're looking for a result and you found Royal Victory, well done. But Zeus ran a great race and he was backed in from long odds.
Yeah, there were a lot of shrewdies who liked Zeus in the Betway Summer Cup. I wasn't among them, and he ran a lovely race behind Royal Victory. He was whacking away and might have run into a little bit of trouble. It wasn't far from being run of the race when you consider that the compression of the weights in the Betway Summer Cup lends itself to horses probably punching above their weight. With Royal Victory, a much-deserved winner, and under the conditions of the race, he took centre stage. He outperformed himself. He put up a career best by a considerable margin. But Zeus, considering he was 2.5 lengths behind Royal Victory, lost very little in defeat. Took home a few rand for the connections. And the way that he's turned the corner, D, since the start of the season. He started the season rated 94. He's now up to 113. So that is how he's found a second wind that's under soft falling rain. I think the key here is Gavin Larina. Zeus has won 8 times. Gavin Larina's won 8 times on Zeus. That's a huge lift to the confidence. The best weighted column would favour the filly, number 5, none other, but I'm sceptical whether the Wilgerbosdrift SA Oaks form is all that genuine. None other's a very, very good filly, but I'd go on the side of a horse that just looks like he's reaching up all the time with Gavin Larina on board. Number 1, Zeus, for me, is a banker in the place accumulator and bipot. I think number 4, Good Counsel, will find a little bit more, stepping up to a more generous trip for him. The further he goes, the better he'll be. It looks like Stuart Pettigrew has placed him cleverly to get him to this type of distance, but is he as good as Zeus? He's certainly not as accomplished as Zeus. So I think Zeus holds all the aces. You mentioned for number 6, Breeze Over. He's also outdone himself. He's remembered how to win Muzi, and he knows how to ride him very, very well. But it's the big lead now for Breeze Over. He's gone from racing with Absolute Value, who's also trained by Fabian Habib, and Positive Attitude, and galloping them into submission, and now running against one of the more accomplished stayers in the Highveld. Zeus, for me, close to a banker in the pick 6, definite banker in the bipod and PA.
One has to agree, and I must echo Alistair's comments on number 4, Good Counsel, because that was a tremendous run from him last time out. I was actually a bit confused the way they placed him in that Pellicle Stakes, but wow, Stuart Pettigrew, he knows what he's doing, and his stable's in fantastic form. Number 4, Good Counsel, could be the exacta horse there with number 1, Zeus. Let's move along to race number 4, which is Jackpot 1, graduation plate over 1160. And best weighted column, firstly, Alistair, will be topped by horse number 8, moving in at 100. And if you look at that 100, and then you look at the betting, and you say, what's happening here? Because that's trading at 7-1, well clear. I say well clear because the stable companion is at a 93, which is 3.5 kgs out. 9 is a scratching now, so that comes out of the best weighted column. Then we got Chrome Tomlin at 91 and 2 at an 88. So the betting doesn't match the best weighted column. Number 1, Zabomba, 22-10. 2, Cornwall, 5-2, forecast betting. Number 3 at 7-1, 4 at 11-2, 5 at 8-1, and then number 8 moving in. Uncharacteristically, you often find this in these condition races where a horse tops it, is at 7-1. What could be the reason for this?
I've probably been a bit unfair to number 8 moving in. I've left her out, and it's just on the evidence of one run over a distance probably too far for her when she was eased at the 400 and compromised her momentum. I always thought I was going to put her into the pick 6 and jackpot, but while you were talking and having a look again, even though I've got 3 horses in my place accumulator and I'm comfortable, I don't think that's a fair reflection of number 8 moving in's chances here. Craig Zaki takes her right again. Don't read anything into the jockey arrangements because Gavin Lorena would have to chop off a leg to ride 54 these days. So that's why he's on number 1 Zarbomba, who's a huge chance, and why Craig Zaki has been employed to ride number 8 moving in. Complex race. Funny enough, Dees, you know who I think pound for pound is going to be the best horse in this race? Maybe not now, but I think coming out of it is number 4 Chrome Tourmaline. I've kept an eye on her and I've been following her with interest. I loved her win on the 26th of October at the Vaal, although that was fillies and mares 76 level, and she's now rising up the divisions, and the handicap is just giving her more and more weight. She looked the part when winning on that occasion. She turned it on in good style, and she looked like a very smart sprinter with a huge weapon in the form of a turn of foot to come. This will be a sufficient test for her, and we'll learn a lot more about her coming out of this. But I think that she might end up being a nice filly to follow. So on that evidence, I put her in, along with numbers 1 and 2, Zarbomba and 2 Cornwall. Zarbomba's just consistent. He's hard to write off. I know he's got 60 kilos, along with the older geldings in this race, Cornwall and Angel of War. But I like the way that Zarbomba also stayed on last time in the Heritage Consolation behind Argo Alley. A few more strides, he probably wins back down the straight for number 1 Zarbomba. So I've got the time of day for him because he's reliable. And number 2 Cornwall ran above his rating last time. A little bit worried that Champimpi only ran 5th during the week out of that form. So you've got to put a question mark about whether it's the most genuine piece of graduation plate form. But all the same, you've got to take that at face value and respect his chances. He's been a difficult horse to get sound, but suddenly Robin Klaasen has got him to turn around, because he was very, very frustrating with his first few starts. Was number 2 Cornwall. You can see that there were a couple of issues after his starts and sparingly raced, but he's clearly enjoying the surroundings of Turffontein. So 1, 2 and 4 for me in the place accumulator. 6 Champion Warrior definitely bears watching. First run in the half out was Sean Tarry, beautiful son of Twice Over. I've seen him up close in the Cape, and then as mentioned, number 8 moving in goes in as well. Complex race. The most interesting horse for me, though, number 4 Chrome Tourmaline.
The source Champion Warrior used to beat Brett, huh?
Yeah, Brett Crawford at the start of his career won his first 2. Real brute of a son of Twice Over. Maybe the handicapper got hold of him a bit too early, and maybe chatting to Brett Crawford about it, and I chatted to him obviously before he made the move. Brett, I said, is he just a Hollywoodbets Durbanville specialist? Because he obviously won his first 2 starts at the country course and then didn't do much at Hollywoodbets Kenilworth. And he was hesitant to commit to that, but he did say maybe there's some substance to that line of thinking. So, but he doesn't fit the bill as a Hollywoodbets Durbanville. A lovely big strapping horse who you'd look at and say, right, Turffontein stands out, Hollywoodbets Kenilworth should suit. But he just did things the other way around. Interesting horse all the same.
Yeah, I remember him starting off his career with an absolute bang, the source, number 6, Champion Warrior. But let's move along to race number 5 now. It's the Betway Wolf Power 1600 listed race over 1600 meters as it is. And at the time of recording, there are no scratchings, but let's give you some forecast betting. Number 1, which is 9 to 2. Number 3 at 9 to 1. Number 4 at 11 to 2. 6 at 3 to 1. And then we go on to number 8 at 8 to 1, and it is 10 to 1 and better the balance. This race, that Grand Heritage, we know that it is a big field that make their way to the Vaal, and a lot depends on luck in running. Things need to go your way, especially when they fan out and where the better going is down that lane. But we take nothing away from Unzain, who won a really good race, but you'll always get hard luck stories coming from that form line. Yeah,
100%. When there's a cavalry charge in a field of that size coming at the straight, there's going to be so much luck in running. And I actually just want to go into depth with that because you've teed me up. I've gone 1 and 7 in my place accumulator. You'll need a few more in the pick 6, obviously. But with regard to number 7, another level. Watching that race from Cape Town with Candice Dawson, we knew Another Level's fate well before the race, because from a middle draw, you'd expect there to be options. And the way that everything was going, the middle was stone dead. Stone dead. He was drawn 11 out of 22. And there was just no cover on offer because the field went left or right. And when you're in the middle, you're just going to be racing exposed. And it was no fault of Nathan Klink at all. No fingers pointed at him, but you could have put Frankie Dettori draw 11 out of 22 at the VAR that day, and you just would have needed all the luck in the world. You would have needed everything to change. You would have needed the conditions to change, the jockeys to change their mind, and the going to change. And he actually did quite well to run 4.5 lengths behind Unzen, who was drawn towards the inside. Fourth horse, Brave Viking, was drawn 1. The other horse in this race, Silent War, was drawn 6. So and he ran 5th. But if you have a look at Brave Viking versus Another Level on the 12th of November, Another Level's got him stone cold in the run to Bavarian Beauty. So you got to respect this horse, number 7, Another Level. He's up to winning a race of this nature, but he's obviously got the hard hitter, number 1, Shoemaker, to beat. The drop in distance is a question mark for number 1, Shoemaker, but if you remember, he was prolific over a mile as a 3-year-old. He ran second in the Dingans as a 3-year-old, came to Cape Town for the Hollywoodbets Cape Guineas, where things just went wrong for him. Tactics changed for him. I think he forgot how to race. I think he was probably taught bad habits. From a deep draw, you know I'm pretty sure I know what Richard Ferrie's going to do. He's going to be told, drop him in, let him run on. It's going to be strict from Mark de Kock, as only Michael can be. And if the pace is on, and I expect it will be, then that will suit number 1, Shoemaker. He deserves the weight that he's got. He is the best horse in the race off a 1-1-1. Talking about runs of the race in the Betway Summer Cup, he was easily the fastest finisher. If the pace was on, I've chatted to Diego de Gavea about this. Doesn't win, probably doesn't run second, but definitely gets a few places closer to royal victory. So 1, Shoemaker, comfortably my top choice, but definite respect for number 7, Another Level. You've got to throw in 4 and 6 as well into the play.
Yeah, I think that is a big find there. If Alistair's on the mark with number 7, Another Level, you will drop tickets here in the exotics, especially the pick 6. But I was just looking at some of those times of 400 to finish. You touched on Shoemaker's time last time out. Well, have a look at some of those times in the Grand Heritage. Silent War, wow. From last to 5th in 21.2 seconds, if that's correct. That's a low flying. On to race number 6, Mother Russia Stakes, Group 3, 1,400 meters. And here we got number 1, White Pearl, 28 to 10, MDK. 2, Champagne Cocktail, 14 to 10, MDK. Then we on to number 4, Elegant Ice at 9 to 1. And that is it. The balance are all forecast betting, 10 to 1 and better. The best weighted column is topped by White Pearl, the proven horse as a 2-year-old, earning a rating as a juvenile. She's come back as a 3-year-old. Although she's yet to win, she's run some game races. She tops it at 100. Number 2, Champagne Cocktail, the up-and-coming horse, the talking filly, one of the 2 talking fillies from the de Kock stable. The other one being Gimme Another, who beat White Pearl last time out. That's at 93. 3 Batula at 91, and then joint numbers 4 and 5 at 89. As you've come to know over the years, Alistair, I'm one and you are the same. Having worked with you over the years, not to scream from the rooftops very early on in these fillies or colts or whichever sex we're talking about, however they begin their careers and whatever they are beating, we wait for them to perform at group level before we can start singing their praises. And this filly will have a first takes at group level. It is a Group 3, and but she's answered all the questions thus far, be it only 2 races, but the way she's demolished the opposition, she has to grab your attention now.
I've spoken to Mike de Kock about her, and you talk of 2 fillies. I'd actually add Silver Sanctuary to that because she's grade 1 placed. She's done what Gimme Another hasn't done yet. She hasn't run in a grade 1 yet, and certainly not what Champagne Cocktail's done. But going to the story that Michael told me about number 2, Champagne Cocktail, she's a full sister to Hollywoodbets Durbanville winner of 18 months ago, Sparkling Water, and she's everything that Sparkling Water isn't. Sparkling Water, at the start of her career, I find they were ironed out. Credit to de Kock and his team for getting the best out of Sparkling Water, because she could have very easily gone the other way. But at the start of her career, she stuck up. She had red earmuffs. She taken down to the start with ponies. Jockeys got off her on the way down to the start. She was led down, absolute basket case. And number 2, Champagne Cocktail is the complete opposite. She's got beautiful temperament, a mind on her. She doesn't give hassles in the mornings. She's got all the attributes of being a top racehorse, but ironically, absolutely nothing like Sparkling Water was as a 3-year-old and early 4-year-old. Obviously, towards the end of her 4-year-old campaign, she became a real madam, became a lady, and behaved accordingly. Now, this is going to be the first real indication we've got, because a lot of people have asked De Kock, and I think he knows, but he's not giving it away, which ones between Gimme Another, Silver Sanctuary, and Champagne Cocktail, because he's got such a strong hand in the Wilgerbos Triple Tiara. Why I think De Kock's keeping his cards close to his chest, because I think they're all totally different. I think Champagne Cocktail might come undone in the mile by Gimme Another. I think over 1,800 meters we could see all three potentially fighting it out, and I think when we get to the final leg in the Wilgerbos Drift SA Oaks, I think that'll be Champagne Cocktail's game. So that now takes me to this meeting on Sunday, where can Champagne Cocktail, and how beautiful will it be if she won the Mother Russia Stakes, who was trained in the second half of her career by Mike De Kock and owned in the second half of her career by Wilgerbos Drift, and obviously Mother Russia being the grandmother of Mother Russia, who's the mother of Gimme Another. It's just a beautiful story. How Champagne Cocktail can fare over 1,400 meters? Is she good enough to win over 1,400 meters? It's one thing beating Azalea's For All by 7.5 lengths. Azalea's For All took a long time to win a maiden out of that, but her second stop was really the eye catcher when beating Say Yes. But now this is the bigger league. This is a few steps forward. I don't think she can miss the first 3, so I bank at her in the place accumulator. When I look at the rest of the field, I don't believe anything comes close to her, the ultimate potential. But is she beatable over 1,400 meters? She possibly is. And I think it could be by her stable companion number 1, White Pearl, who's got a bad draw. So suggested bet, banker number 2, Champagne Cocktail. Happy to put a full stop after that. Pick 6. Would I be comfortable bankering a horse who's going to be more effective over 1,000 meters more? No, but if she were to win, stand up and take notice.
I want to have a conversation with you at the end of the season, and you'll remind me. You got a better memory than mine because you're much younger. But I'm going to eliminate Silver Century from this conversation. At the end of the season, between Champagne Cocktail and Gimme Another, who you think will have the higher rating? I know that it's about the opposition and where Mike's going to place these horses, in which group races they're going to take on, the opposition that they're taking on, and how the handicapper works his sums out. But if I just have to throw a curveball and say, by the way, Gimme Another is rated a 120 at the moment, having won the Ipitombi and the Feliz Mile, so she's way ahead at this stage. But come the end of the season, which horse will be rated higher between Champagne Cocktail and Gimme Another? Your thoughts?
With that head start, it's hard to go against Gimme Another. I can tell you right now, you know what the race is going to be? It's going to be the Willavington 2000 and Hollywoodbets Greyville on Daily News 2000 Day. And who do I think will win that on a short straight over 2,000 meters at Hollywoodbets Greyville? I'll go with Champagne Cocktail. I think in 6 months... that's a horrible question. My heart of hearts, I think Champagne Cocktail.
Yeah, I mean, she's got some work to do to get to that 120. She's only rated at 102, but she is starting up her engine in group races now, and let's see how she fares. Some nice thoughts there in race number 6 in the Mother Russia Stakes, a Group 3 over 1,400 meters. Then on to race number 7. Well, this is the Betway got the Green Light Stakes over 1,400 meters. And talking about horses that have given us some wonderful memories, well, Got the Green Light was one of those horses. Group 1 winner as a 2, 3, and 4-year-old, something that... is scarcely found, should I say, in those age categories to win Group 1 races, but Joe Soma did a wonderful job with him. Race number 7, number 1, Sandringham Summit, 11 to 10. 2, Main Defender, even money, and it's double figures the balance. The best weighted column dominated by these 2 horses. Main Defender marginally at a 114, of course receiving that kg from number 1, Sandringham Summit. It's a very interesting jockey booking here, and I'm sure that when you had a look at it, you know I was going to go there. because Cabello has done nothing wrong on this horse. In fact, his win last time out was Cabello, just maturing into the jockey that we know that he's capable of achieving the heights that he can. Of course, he's a Hollywoodbets Durbanville winning jockey, but his win last time out, I must just give him 12 out of 10 if I had to mark him for that ride. And he's not riding the horse. I tried to get a hold of Monty just to find out what happened and how come and this and that, but I couldn't get hold of him. I wanted just some clarity on what happened here, because we know how this game is and how cruel and kind it can be at times. But for whatever reason, Cabello's not riding the horse. It's now Calvin Habib, who was the jockey on Sandringham Summit.
Deeds, yeah, you said it. Tough one for Cabello. Obviously, looking into the bigger picture, Calvin Habib is Tony Peter's stable jockey, but in times like this, is that fair to take a man off who threw the absolute kitchen sink to beat Sandringham Summit? I don't know. But anyway, there is a rhyme, there is a reason, I'm sure. Who's going to win? Let's go back to the Graham Beck on Allard Steel Road on a mission race day, where the short head separated Main Defender and Sandringham Summit. For me, that was the race of 2023. Certainly the most heart-stopping race of 2023 was the battle that precluded over the final 400 meters was worth the entrance fee. And they meet on identical terms. I always believe that with 1 kilo to play with, over 1,400 meters, that Main Defender probably has Sandringham Summit's number, because Main Defender can race on speed and Sandringham Summit's going to turn it on from behind. I think when we get to the first leg of the World Sports Betting Triple Crown, different story. I think Sandringham Summit will beat him. The Dingons was hard to watch. Just nothing went right for Sandringham Summit. He dropped in and probably left with too much to do and ran into trouble. Purple Pitcher got away, so did the second horse. Sandringham Summit back to fight another day. Under new ownership, he's obviously been sold back to Forthcoming with the designs on becoming a stallion. But let's isolate Sunday. Number 2, Main Defender for me. I just think with 1 kilo, like I said, over this distance, Main Defender will have the edge again. I don't see. I also imagine the bigger picture. Is Main Defender going to go beyond the first leg of the World Sports Betting Triple Crown? He'll probably take the first leg and then go into the HF Oppenheimer Horse Chestnut. I think that would be a more reliable target for him or sequence for him, whereas Sandringham Summit, I wouldn't be scared to go all 3 legs of the World Sports Betting Triple Crown. So for me, Main Defender probably a race ahead of the curve, whereas Sandringham Summit's getting onto that curve now. So pick 6, both have to go in, place accumulator, one or the other.
I just want to touch on Gavin Lerena here. We know that he partnered the horse first up when the horse was beaten by Lucky Lad. Unlucky so as well when that saddle slipped. But these top boys, these boys that got all these Group 1 races, on their CV, from last time out and what happened, with that BMT that Gavin does possess, you'd expect a far different ride. I know it's 1,400 meters, which we know it's going to be tactical for this horse to try and get the better of Main Defender, but I can see Gavin Lerena at his supreme best on this horse on Sunday, Alistair.
And maybe with a point to prove, Dees. I mean, that's another way of looking at it. Is Gavin going to sort of want to get one over those who have thrown stones at him for his ride on Sandringham Summit last time? For me, it's race riding. You can't hold too many grudges against a jockey, certainly not in a feature race of that magnitude. Gavin may have just taken the wrong option by dropping him too far out in what was going to be a slow race, and I think there will be a point to prove to Gavin, because he likes to get his message across. He is going to be hungry to turn it around with number 2 Main Defender, and like I said, prove a point. And it will also be great for David Nevenase, and the fact that a small-time trainer has found himself what is clearly a top horse, voted Equus 2-year-old champion colt last season. So yes, from that point of view, that is another angle to look at, another bit of food for thought. But I'm still not going to change my stance that Main Defender's just one run ahead of the curve, and Sandringham Summer's just getting on this curve on Sunday. Great race all the same.
What we're trying to say, if you just want to summarize it, sometimes it's not what we see in black and white or all the replays that we've watched. It's what's at stake that matters. And if you read races that way, then you could put that puzzle together between number 1, Sandringham Summit, and number 2, Main Defender. Who says what's at stake for Calvin Habib? Well, he's also got a point to prove, hasn't he? He's been given a chance. He's been jocked off one and given a chance on the other. How lucky is he? That's fell into his lap. He's got something to prove as well. So race number 7, there's lots of angles to look at this race, but on pure form, Alistair sums it up. 2, Main Defender over 1,400 meters will beat number 1, Sandringham Summit. Let's move along to race number 8, closing things off over 1,600 meters, a merit-rated 81 handicap. And I want to know from Alistair, how many horses will he be safe with here, or is he going with the horse that's priced in the red? Forecast betting, number 1, Storm Brasco. Listen to this, Alistair. 9 to 10 is the forecast bet on this horse. Number 2 at 8 to 1. Number 7 at 5 to 1. And number 8 at 11 to 2. So, the form line, you would have had a look at it. You know that the Cox runner, Namuhal, has come out to win. And winning a good race the other day. And often we say that let's have a look at the form line when these horses win, and win in the manner that this individual did. Storm Brasco by 8 lengths, beating Namuhal. But the fact is that second place runner did come out to win for Mike. So bookmakers taking no chances here. They've put the handcuffs on this one, Alistair. 9 to 10.
Great analogy. So how do I see Storm Brasco? What did I think of the win? I thought it was, to the eye, very appealing. But at the time, I thought he beat absolutely nothing. I thought not much of Lamuhal. And like you say, he's come out and franked the form. And that's the advantage now that punters have, looking at things retrospectively and getting a line of how that all worked out. 9 to 10 short, eh? Oh, that's a tight price for me. He's no banker in the pick 6. I've got 1 and 7 in my PA because I'm comfortable that Storm Brasco can possibly step up. I mean, if it's the tongue tie that's made all the difference, then that's a huge difference that the tongue tie's made. Richard Faree now takes the ride. 7 Dungeons, I've enjoyed following him. I think I've got the right idea of what he needs and how he best performs. I do actually think he's best at the Val than at Turffontein, but I still like that last run to Lutuli where he's kind of stuck around under Richard Faree, so he's back over the same course and distance as 3 weeks later. So I put Dungeons in more out of favoritism than anything else. And I think number 8, Just Nuisance, deserves a mention into the pick 6 at least. But Storm Brasco, that win was very encouraging. Given a 91 for beating Lamuhal. Obviously that rating was given before Lamuhal came out and won. So I wonder if the handicapper would look back and say, maybe that was a bit generous, because at the time he might have thought 91 could be a little bit steep. Interesting race, interesting horse. He could be anything, number 1, Storm Brasco. I'm not a fan of that saying, but this is literally the case with number 1, Storm Brasco. He could very well train on and be all right.
Well, now that you're in Cape Town and you moved there, you're settling in, etc. We've had this conversation in the past about the Dungeons. Have you visited? Have you made some inquiries about that big wave down there?
If you knew me and water and swimming and everything like that, absolutely no interest whatsoever. I do believe that John Finlayson would have named it after Dungeons in the Cape, because I know that he is a bit of a beach bum. We all love John Finlayson, seriously good guy, great owner, and supports the game wall to wall. But am I going to investigate Dungeons and dip my feet into the water? Absolutely no chance whatsoever.
So if you meet Kelly Slater, will you ask him for an autograph then?
So the sick part about it is that my best mate in Durban, who's now living in London, surfer, you can't believe Kelly Slater's one of his heroes. If Kelly Slater walked through the door right now, I wouldn't have a clue.
I like flipping to channels. You know me, Alistair. I like watching a bit of everything. In fact, the other day, I was wowed by the darts. Yo, mommy, that was proper. That was proper. 108. I love it. I love the darts. I mean, and the British public, they go mad for that. Look at that arena, how packed it is.
So I don't know if you saw the stats. Sky gave the numbers. 4.3 million viewers on a subscription channel to watch the final between Humphreys and Littler.
Yes.
I mean, I've watched it since it started on the 20th of December, and when I was in Dubai and had the Fire Stick and all the British guys that I worked with were watching the darts and telling me about the darts, and I always had an eye on the darts, knowing Phil Taylor, Raymond van Barneveld, Michael van Gerwen, etc., etc. I didn't understand the theatre and the sport that it had become. It's the festivities, the crowd. I mean, you and me being teetotalers, we might get lost in that crowd, but there's no way I'd ever turn down an invitation to that. That is sensational. What a story it actually has become, the darts. And the 16-year-old Luke Littler, who came from complete obscurity to making the final £200,000 richer, brilliant.
Well, you said it all, and my favorite is no doubt Phil Taylor. You know, I grew up actually watching darts with Phil Taylor, and amazing. And I promise you that I watched darts when, you wouldn't believe this, but I'm telling you, this is a true story. I don't know if it's still in the Guinness Book of Records, but darts is huge in KZN, and they broke a Guinness Book of World Record, 7 players over 24 hours, for the most number of score. Let's just put it score. Over 24 hours, 7 players. And they did it in Pietermaritzburg. And I'll even give you the venue. It was Taj Hotel. And I went for a few hours during those 24 hours and watched it. It was amazing to watch. I mean, how these guys were throwing those darts and scoring high scores and repetitively among 7 of them. I don't know if it's still in the Guinness Book of Records. I'm talking about lighty days now, Alistair, but that's a story for another day. But maybe Pietermaritzburg in the Guinness Book of Records holding that record for the highest score over 24 hours by 7 players. But let's get into your suggested bet for Sunday, the 7th of January.
Place accumulator getting underway at 1:15. The first leg is race number 2, so the match at trio. 1, 3, and 7, Spatial Charm, Pretty and Pearls, and Explosive Bond. By number 1, Zeus, a banker. By 1, 2, and 4, Zarbomba, Cornwall, and Chrome Tourmaline. By 1 and 7, Shoemaker, and Another Level. By banker 2, Champagne Cocktail. By banker 2, Main Defender. By 1 and 7, Storm Brasco and Dungeons. That's a nice affordable PA. To be fair, I don't think the PA is going to pay a record amount on the Sunday card at neither meeting, to be fair. So let's take advantage. Let's play it aggressively.
Yep, you know, by now, listening into this show on the Sunday, you'd know the results of Saturday. And it's a wonderful race meeting that Gauteng has put up for this Sunday to race alongside Hollywoodbets Scottsville. So on behalf of the entire team, Alistair Cohen, Gallop TV, myself, D's down unto you, the valued racing fan. If you're playing this Sunday, you got a double header, lots to play for. May it turn out to be a wonderful day for you. Make a huge profit, a successful day. And until we meet again, you take care. Salani Gasly.